We'd like to start by welcoming everyone here today. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful, beautiful place to celebrate our school system. We're going to begin by asking Miss Josie Robinson to please come up and lead us in the pledge. We'd ask everyone to please stand. We'll also ask you to remain standing as Dwayne Absher leads our prayer.
Hand over your heart. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job.
Let's bow in prayer, please. Kind and loving God, our Heavenly Father, dear Lord, we're so thankful again for another day of life you have blessed us with. We're thankful, Heavenly Father, for the many blessings you bestowed upon us down to this present time. But Lord, we're most thankful for your love and mercy, the precious gift of your Son, Jesus, who died for our sins. We're thankful to be able to be here today, gathered with this crowd. We just pray, Heavenly Father, that you would watch over us and be with each and every one. We pray that you would always watch over the communities in which we live, keep everyone safe, happy, and healthy. We're so thankful again to be able to be here to do things to help the kids in our community in this area to better their education, to have more opportunity to go out and make a living in this world. We give you glory and honor for all things. Again, Lord, we just pray that you would be with us, that you would watch over us and care for us. We always pray for a community in which we live and the country in which we live, still the greatest nation upon this earth. And I just pray that your hand would be upon it, that you would bless us, and let us look to you for guidance and understanding on how to rule, govern, and guide each and every day, that we would be a blessed land and people. We always ask for forgiveness for our shortcomings, that you would help us along life's way. So many who suffer sickness, we just pray for them that you would heal their bodies. Again, Lord, we're so thankful for everyone here today, everyone here representing this area and this school, legislators, lawmakers, anyone who has had a part in making our students' lives better, we're so thankful for. Lord, we give you glory for all things, and we pray you'll be with us through this ceremony. And as we travel back to our places of abode, keep us safe. We ask it all in Jesus' precious and holy name. Amen.
At this time, you may be seated. What a great day for Pike County schools. What a great day for Pike County. The commitment of our legislative body, along with our governor, Andy Beshear, to restore Eastern Kentucky is obvious with this project. When you commit $15 million to vocational education, you are saying we have to do something to realize that Eastern Kentucky needs help. I can't thank you enough. Let's give our legislative body a big hand. This partnership with Pikeville Medical Center and Donovan Blackburn will allow our children to be able to earn a livable wage here in Eastern Kentucky while staying home. So many of our best and brightest have moved to Central Kentucky to try to find work, try to find opportunity for their families. This will be a step in the right direction toward us getting back where we need to be. We have so many distinguished guests here today, and as I call your name, I'd ask you to please stand to be recognized. I'll start with our U.S. Legislature, Bob Mitchell from Congressman Hal Rogers' office. From the Pike County School District, Assistant Superintendent Freddie Bowling. All 5 of my board members, and I don't think I'm biased, I think I have the best board in the state of Kentucky. I really do. When I go out across the state and I talk to other superintendents, the issues they have, I just don't have. This board is extremely supportive of moving our district forward, moving our county forward. I'll recognize them individually. Dr. Josh Leonard, Belfry area. Shane Hurley, Phelps area. Dwayne Abshire, Eastridge area. Stephanie Lowe, Pike County Central area. And Ireland Heavy Blankenship, Shelby Valley area. From our Pike County government, we have several people representing us today as well. We have our Pike County Sheriff Rodney Scott, Pike County Clerk Darrell Pugh, Pike County Attorney Paul Howard Jr., Pike County Coroner Kevin Hall, Pike County District Judge Robert Wright, Pike County Circuit Judge Howard Keith Hall. From the City of Pikeville, we have several representatives. We have our City Manager, Reggie Hickman. We have our Deputy City Manager, Brad Sloan. Where's Brad? Brad and I graduated from Millard High School next door in 1992. Brad was quite a bit more intelligent than I am. Everybody that went to school with us would tell you that, but Brad and I are great friends, and he's a great person. Been a great, great representative of the Millard area for a long, long time. Really has. The local city of Coal Run, we have Commissioner Mike Steele. From the Kentucky Department of Education, we have two representatives from the Office of Career and Technical Education, Mr. Larry Garrity. And Miss Sarah Marth. From our several other dignitaries we have here today, we have Mr. Greg May with UMG, a great partner, Donovan Blackburn with Pikeville Medical Center, Tim Robinson with Appalachian Recovery Center, and I'd also ask that all PMC staff and executives please stand to be recognized. We have Jim Codell, who will be the construction manager with Codell Construction here. We have several managers from Community Trust Bank. I see Brett Keene here. Now our state legislators. We have Rocky Aggins, Senior Advisor to the Governor. We have Senator Philip Wheeler. We have Senate President Robert Stivers. We have Representative Ashley Tackett Lafferty. We have Representative John Blanton out of the 92nd District. We have Representative Tom Smith out of the 86th District. And finally, it's very odd, and I'd say probably the first time in Pike County school history that we have two governors on the stage at the same time. That's amazing. It really is. I would say again, this is historic. We have former Governor Paul Patton. We have my good friend, I think he announced his candidacy on the steps at Pike County Central High School, Governor Andy Beshear. You know, it's pretty amazing when you think about the group of people that is here today to celebrate such a good thing for Pike County. As you can see, education is not red or blue. It's really not. It's about what's best for kids. It's what's best for communities. And I think everyone here recognizes and realizes that. When you look at John Blanton and Tom Odell Smith, two great representatives, they both really went to war to make sure this money was earmarked for this particular program. They were instrumental in it. Let's give John Blanton and Tom Odell Smith another hand. Today I have the pleasure of introducing John Blanton. John is not only a representative, he is a very close and personal friend of mine. He is one of the most humble and honest men I know. My confidence in John and John doing the right thing is second to none. I'm happy to introduce Mr. John Blanton, State Representative of 92nd District.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. What a beautiful day it is to celebrate such a wonderful occasion. An occasion that's not just going to be something that's built and we forget about, but something that's going to be impactful for generations here, Governor Patton. Something that this area will benefit from, not just in this county, but across this region, as the number of students, whether it be those in the school systems, those that participate through the recovery system, will learn trades and new skill sets to better prepare them for the workforce as they go out into the world to prepare to build their families, Governor. And anytime we can do that to help our young people, then it's a win and it's a good investment. I'm not going to belabor you with a long speech today. What I want to do is share with you how we got here today. It didn't happen overnight. It has been a process. As Dr. Atkins said, it's been a bipartisan process. From the get-go, when we spoke to the governor about this idea, he was on board 100%. Dr. Atkins and members here in Pike County came to me about a vocational school here. The need, the opportunities we had with Pikeville Medical Center, with the Recovery Center, the things that it would do for us. And I began speaking with Representative Smith, and just so happened he was looking for a vocational school down in his district in Knox County. And so we began to talk, and we decided we were going to go ask actually for 3 vocational schools. And as the conversation moved forward, the decision was made, well, we're just going to put a pot of money of $75 million. And then that way multiple schools could be built. And we did that. We did that. Now, anytime you put a pot of money, there is certain criteria that has to be met to get that money. Unfortunately, what we didn't realize, Governor, in that piece of legislation, the verbiage, it got all the other schools, including McGoffin County, my home county, we got one. But Pike County didn't meet the criteria, the one that had the idea, that started the whole initiative, to get us to begin to fight for it. So we came back and we talked with Governor over the interim, and was like, we got to make this happen. So we constructed language without using Pike County, I think, as the close enough. But we knew what we were doing, that they would apply. And turns out, you know, sometimes things that don't happen when you want them to are blessings, right? Because those other schools were going to be limited to 10 million, and we needed 15 actually to construct this. So we were able to come back in the next session, and Representative Smith and I kept pushing forward with the governor's support all the way, and we was able to get the funding for this specific facility passed in our last session. So we were proud and honored to do that because we know the impact that it's going to have. You know, I'm a firm believer in education. I made sure that my children were educated. Most all of us do that have the opportunity. But you know, college isn't for everyone, and we have to recognize that. That's why that these area technology schools like Milliard will provide skill sets for people to make a good living and have good opportunities right here at home. And that's why this is so important to this community and to this region. I, for one, down in McGoffin County, I wouldn't know where to go to find somebody to build me a house right now. Carpenters are not as populous as they used to be, Rocky. So we need people with skill sets. And so this is going to provide skill sets from automotive technology to building and apartment maintenance, to health science, electrical technology, welding, fabricating. There's going to be all kinds of opportunity for students and those people who are trying to get their lives back together. This is a win for Pike County, rest assured. And it has been a bipartisan piece of work that is taken on for the last 2 years, and we're finally here to this day to make this announcement. And I look forward to this groundbreaking, but Greg, I look forward to the day when we're here cutting the ribbon and we start seeing these students as they begin to pass through the hallways of this new facility and they begin to start their future with hope once again here in this region. Thank you.
To touch on one of the things that Representative Blanton said, I was on the SFCC Board of Control that allocated part of that $75 million, and we ended up getting $25 million of that sent back to the 15th region. As he said, McGoffin County got $5 million, Lawrence County got $10 million, and Johnson County got $10 million. So I think it's not only recognized in Eastern Kentucky, but I think it's recognized across the state because the SFCC Board of Control was very supportive in sending money back to Eastern Kentucky for career and technical education. That's really a big deal. Let's give Representative Blanton another big hand. At this time, before I announce Donovan Blackburn, I would like to show the video that we had created. Mr. Potter, if you don't mind. This video shows several stakeholders for this particular school, and I think that it says a lot about what's going on here in Pike County.
Hello everyone, this is Rocky Adkins. I'm the Senior Advisor to Governor Andy Beshear. I want to say congratulations on the groundbreaking of the Pike County Schools' new Career and Technical Education Center. This is a great day for the families of Eastern Kentucky and a great day for the families of Pike County. Our young people will have wonderful new opportunities with this new state-of-the-art facility, and with the collaboration of ARC, Pikeville Regional Hospital, local businesses and industries will help propel skilled trades for an ever-evolving workforce. This is a real model for not only Kentucky, but for the nation. As we take those who are going through recovery of addiction and being able to have a skilled trade to enter and re-enter society and the workforce. And this is also a great day, not only for Pike County, but the faculty and the students and the skilled trades that are needed for the future for this unbelievable economy, this unbelievable job-producing economy that needs this workforce for the future. Congratulations to Dr. Reed Adkins for your hard work on making this $14.5 million project become a reality.
As a regional hospital providing health care to over 450,000 citizens, this project is extremely important to us. Why? Because there is currently a workforce crisis in healthcare.
Over the past decade, we've seen a renewed interest on building things here at home, on workforce and trades. Vocational education is a key part of that. And here in Eastern Kentucky, we've seen strides and advancements in healthcare. However, we need a workforce to man those developments. The new vocational school at Milliard High School addresses both of those important issues. Not only will it provide the skills and the knowledge to students as they advance in their careers, it also will provide the workforce of the future for Pikeville Medical Center and other medical leaders within the region of Eastern Kentucky.
At Pikeville Medical Center, we're very blessed to have great personnel. We have staff actually that creates curriculum working with higher ed. The intent is to do the same, is to have an individual in this facility working with the Pike County school system and with Pikeville Medical Center directly, coordinating the opportunities to determine what the curriculum will be and what the course will be. So someone graduating high school could actually graduate as a certified phlebotomist, a nursing assistant, a medical assistant, a lab assistant, a pharmacy tech, and so many others.
We feel that the Milliard ATC is going to be a state-of-the-art facility that will give our students an opportunity not only to get a great education, but also to learn a trade that will give them a livable wage that will keep them here in Eastern Kentucky. We feel that these opportunities will not only help the school system, but also help the community at large, creating individuals that will be great employees for Pike County and the surrounding area.
I believe that the CNA program helps you tremendously, especially if you're looking to go into the nursing field, and it will also help you very much in your first semester, especially like I am right now.
The new technical school will not only help the high school students who are getting prepared for their career, but it will also help their loved ones who have been struggling with addiction.
Any project of this type, any project of this magnitude, generally has multiple people coming together to make it work. And when it is there and providing the services, it goes back to prior questions that we've discussed and answers. It impacts the community from, one, providing jobs and opportunities to people who work there, and two, the people who access those services for them to become, again, that viable, productive citizen, giving an employment base, not drawing off of the community, but adding to the community.
There were many individuals involved in bringing this project together, from local individuals to elected officials, to the school system, to the Pikeville Medical Center, to those with the addiction recovery centers. All of these people had a passion and a vision that this vocational facility would bring to this area. And collaboratively, they worked together with one another and with the General Assembly and the Governor's Office to create the funding opportunity to be able to build such a wonderful facility that will be not only a state-of-the-art facility, but it'll be one located right here in Pike County.
This school will provide students with unlimited opportunities to develop special skills necessary for higher paying jobs. This will impact not only our students, but the economy of Pike County as well. I want to express my thanks to Governor Andy Beshear and the Kentucky Legislature for providing funding for a state-of-the-art vocational technical school in our area.
The partnership between the Pike County School System, Pikeville Medical Center, Addiction Recovery Care, and the businesses in this area will be able to get the workforce needed to sustain the area.
I'm truly passionate about this program and appreciate the partnerships, because together we will solve this issue. And this is a giant leap forward to do so.
We would like to thank everyone involved with the securing of these funds for the school system, we feel that it will make a major impact. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Congressman Hal Rogers, and I want to congratulate the Pikeville Medical Center and the Pike County School System for partnering to develop the new Millard Vocational Center. The future of Eastern Kentucky is brighter than ever before, thanks to additional workforce development opportunities and centers like this that will provide skills training for folks in our region. Eastern Kentucky has lost more than 13,000 coal mining jobs over the last 15 years, making the healthcare industry one of the largest employers in our region. We also have some of the highest rates of health disparities in the country, including cancer, heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. So, we need more healthcare workers across Eastern Kentucky to help address those needs. This vocational center will provide students with the skills they need to get a job at Pikeville Medical Center and local clinics, improving medical care right here at home. I'm also pleased that the center will be available in the evenings to individuals at addiction recovery care, providing those in recovery with workforce training to become gainfully employed so they can restart their futures. We all deserve a second chance, and this vocational center will provide them with added hope through recovery. So, congratulations to everyone involved with this important project. Keep up the great work, and Godspeed.
Hey Pike County, it's Andy, and I'm so excited to help celebrate the groundbreaking of the new Pike County Career and Technical Education Center. This is a project we invested over $14 million in from our budget because we recognize the important impact this center will have on our Eastern Kentucky students in this region. Education is the key to creating a brighter future, and within these new state-of-the-art classrooms, students will build the confidence and skills they need to secure the jobs of tomorrow. As we all know, these opportunities allow folks to live fuller lives, provide for their families, and pursue the careers our people want and deserve. But I'm also excited about the partnerships being created around this facility. Thanks to the collaboration between Addiction Recovery Care, Pikeville Regional Hospital, and local businesses and industries, this facility will also serve as a re-entry program for our neighbors recovering from addiction. Giving folks the opportunity to pursue a skilled trade will give them a better chance for success while also boosting our workforce. I want to congratulate all of you on this incredible milestone. We have a lot to be excited about, especially with exciting projects like these. Thank you all and enjoy today's celebration.
Donovan Blackburn, CEO of Pikeville Medical Center, has been an incredible partner for the Pike County School System and a dear friend of mine for many years. Through the years, we have partnered in nurses for Pike County schools, telehealth for all schools, creating CNA slots for every high school, which we have doubled over the last 2 years. The Ava Center, which now educates so many of our students that at one time had to travel miles and miles to get the services they needed. Donovan and PMC employees more than any other institution in Eastern Kentucky. So many of our children are in our schools today rather than other areas because of the employment opportunities at Pikeville Medical Center. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Donovan Blackburn.
Really thank you for that kind introduction and for the invitation to speak here today. In thinking through my comments last night, I want to do something a little bit special to kind of wrap this together when we talk about the partnerships and what this really means to our region. So again, good afternoon. You know, I worked side by side with my good friend Greg May for the last 20 years serving this community. It'll be 20 years this April, Greg. I told them many times to get things done, you need someone who's a thinker, a dreamer, and a doer. And Greg and Reed are all three. A thinker recognizes the opportunity. A dreamer comes up with a grand plan to address this opportunity long term. And a doer makes it happen. My belief, a great leader addresses such opportunities with just two words: what if? Let's take a little journey over the next couple of minutes talking about first the opportunity. Since the turn down of the coal industry, healthcare became the leading economic driver, representing over 17.5% of our local regional economy. With over 2,000 unfilled, well-paid, well-benefited healthcare jobs available right now in our region. At the same time that our nation declared a crisis. So what if? What if you fish where the fish are and make smart investments by creating infrastructure, programs, and funding pathways for jobs that are here today? What if you meet with a newly elected governor during his very first trip to Eastern Kentucky to introduce and roll out Project HEART, healthcare, educational around regional training? What if you travel to Lexington and meet with the Senate President to discuss why investments in healthcare are needed, being greeted by full support? What if you meet with the House leadership in the back of Greg May's yard and talk to him about why new legislation needs to be addressed to open up nursing seats? What if you actually had 3 new schools built in just 2 years while expanding a 4th on or near the hospital campus, catering to both traditional and non-traditional students, while supplying clinical rotation opportunities within our hospital? What if you open a world-class drug treatment center, Tim? You build a facility surrounded by hope, faith, and second chances. What if you are the leading employer? You fulfill your mission through your Christian and principles by offering employment for second chances, by developing programs that work and meet their needs. What if you stop the brain drain by actually going to the school systems like Pike County and educate our best and brightest on the opportunity pathways in healthcare? What if, as Reed mentioned, if you put a CNA program in every high school in the largest county in the state of Kentucky to give students an introduction to healthcare settings, setting them up for success? What if you work with the state's technical school system and develop your own certified program as a medical assistant, patient care tech, or phlebotomist, and actually pay that non-traditional student for the 8 to 10 weeks with a raise when they complete their program? What if our regional's single largest employer, PMC, opens a workforce innovation center with the intent to expose students to more hands-on healthcare opportunity, show them the pathway forward, and help them in various settings while almost guaranteeing them a job upon completion? What if we offered to pay the tuition for a student going to higher ed in pursuit of a medical degree, minus what they earn through scholarship? They'll earn a 2-year degree, debt-free, and have a position that pays anywhere between $26 and $32 to start, with great benefits. What if we are so successful, we form a partnership to develop more allied health seats with higher ed facilities, and use those partnerships and workforce center to navigate students into those seats through various means? What if we solve the problem by actually working together, being in partnerships that can make a difference, like with our governor, our congressman, our legislative leadership, local legislators, higher education, Pike County and Pikeville Independent Schools, ARC, SOAR, Addiction Recovery Care, KCTCS, JAG, CEDAR, Kentucky Education Workforce Development Cabinet, EKSEP, and a host of others, to all be part of HEART in this grand scheme, while bringing 3 great friends together, Greg May, Dr. Reed Atkins, and myself, who are committed to seeing this through. What if we actually build a vocational program that will allow traditional and non-traditional students or drug recovery patients the opportunity to earn not one, but various healthcare certifications through a tracking program? To earn a certification maybe as a CNA, a phlebotomist, a pharmacy tech, medical assistant, patient care tech, lab assistant, ED technician, or EVS tech, or even more. This would somehow allow them to immediately enter the workforce at a great rate, but would also give them great exposure and credits to where they can transfer those skills to a 2-year degree. What if the single largest regional hospital hires a staff member that actually works in that vocational school to help develop those programs, partnering a pathway for students for continued educational opportunity? Because of the thinkers, the dreamers, and the doers, we are all sitting on this stage today because the what ifs are becoming a reality. Just 3 years ago, in Pikeville, there were only 80 healthcare seats and 0 certification programs in Pikeville. This is where the largest business in our region is located, with nearly 400 job openings. Today, with U Pike, Galen, Big Sandy, A&U, and our K-12 Pike County program, we now have over 550 allied health seats in our community. While we doubled the size of the CNA program in our school system thanks to Dr. Atkins. Just a few short weeks ago, the governor presented a $1 million grant investment to yet expand our infrastructure of the second floor Galen nursing program. So thank you, Governor. Thanks to President Stivers and the Senate, who led with Senate Bill 10, which permanently allow nursing schools to expand as needed without government red tape. We also have, John, thanks to House Bill 200, that will help fund up to 1/2 the scholarship dollars that we have been providing to students. So thank you. Now we have a great gift of almost $15 million to continue this work. Our state, federal, local, and business leaders have worked together to solve our healthcare workforce crisis by providing an unbelievable opportunity through the education through and by Project HEART. Today's groundbreaking represents more than a building. It's jobs, retention, investment, and most of all, it's hope. So thanks to all of you who are thinkers, dreamers, and doers for answering the what if. It was my job. I had a simple job to introduce Tim also, and I goofed it. Tim.
We are honored to have Governor Beshear with us today, who has been helping us turn the tide of addiction in our Commonwealth. He especially understands that our neighbors in addiction, if given access to treatment, recovery, vocational rehabilitation, and educational services, can get off the sidelines and join our state's growing economy as incredible employees and provide for their families and bless their communities. Governor Beshear is a true champion for the recovery community, and we're so grateful for his support. In fact, a report published earlier this summer by Mental Health America ranks Kentucky now #1 nationwide for lower prevalence of mental illness and higher rates of access to care among adults. In the same ranking, Kentucky was 32 in 2020. Governor, we've went from 32nd to #1 in the last 3.5 years. This means we're making great strides in access to behavioral and mental health treatment, and at ARC, we're proud to be a part of the solution. Over these last 3.5 years, ARC has added over 1,250 new beds and 5 new outpatient facilities across the state. We're also preparing to reopen the Bellefonte Psychiatric Hospital and provide the region with much-needed psychiatric and detox services. And we're also proud to work with the best congressman in the United States, the 5th District's own Congressman Hal Rogers. He saw the national opioid crisis before anyone in D.C., and 20 years ago this year launched Operation Unite that has made Eastern Kentucky the laboratory for national solutions to the opioid epidemic. And Unite shares those solutions every year with the nation at Congressman Rogers' National RX Summit in Atlanta. I'd also like to thank State Senator Philip Wheeler, Representative John Blanton, and other members of the legislature. I know firsthand that Senator Wheeler was a tireless advocate for this project. He called me often during the budget process and updated me on the progress of getting this funding through the Senate. Sometimes it was also to tell me to let Greg May know that he was doing all he could to get this done. I would tell him what I tell anyone about Greg May. He's going to outwork us all, so we better try our best to keep up with him. And last and certainly not least, I just mentioned him, but I want to extend my sincere gratitude to my great friend, Greg May. River Place next door was Greg May's vision, being born out of his own brother's struggle and eventual passing because of addiction. River Place was the first 100-plus bed treatment facility in Kentucky when the federal rules changed to allow larger centers with more amenities and room to offer a continuum of care. It has comprehensive services like vision care and soon-to-be dental services and emergency telehealth, while also allowing future providers to be trained. And Greg continues to partner with his community's great institutions like Pikeville Medical Center and my friend CEO of that hospital, Donovan Blackburn, and UPike and President Burton Webb to build truly a one-of-kind facility next door. Today's event is further continuation of Greg bringing the Pike County school system on board as a partner for the work we are doing. Superintendent Reed Atkins has worked alongside Greg to create a truly innovative project here that will allow high school students to get ready to work, vocational education by day, and those in recovery to use the same world-class facilities at night to learn and build a career. Greg, thank you for your vision, for working so hard to make this day happen. You're not just a visionary, but you're also a workhorse who is driven by a true passion for our region and our people. In closing, why does it matter for us to be so focused on getting those in addiction back to the workforce? Why does it matter? For one, Kentucky is setting economic development and corporate investment in our state all-time records. There's never been a stronger economy. We have thousands and thousands of jobs being added each year from outside companies locating here, and many, many more jobs with native companies growing in our current economic environment because of a governor and a General Assembly who have made Kentucky a business-friendly state. We have a workforce shortage, and the answer and the problem are related. Ohio State and the Brookings Institute have both published studies on workforce participation that show startling statistics. The biggest hole in our workforce is the historic low participation rate of prime-age working men aged 25 to 55. When they peeled the onion back to see why they're not in the workforce, here's what they found. 50% of these prime-age working men sitting on the sidelines self-report taking pain medication every single day. Of those 50%, only 2/3 have a prescription, which means that 1/3 are taking illicit drugs. Researchers claim that self-reported negative data is on an average 30% underreported. With that estimate, it means that more than 45% of workers not in the workforce today are taking pain medication every day, which means almost 50% of our workforce participation our problem is addiction related. The Kentucky Chamber of Commerce has realized that our neighbors in addiction have to have the help they need, and that we have to promote second chance hiring in order to not only help them recover, but go to work in a meaningful career. We can't solve our workforce participation problem without these efforts. I'm glad to be on the right side of this historic moment when we can do all we can to help our neighbors in addiction. This project is truly historic, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. Thanks to all those who've worked to make it possible.
Before I move on with the program, I'm an impromptu speaker, and when you're impromptu, sometimes you forget things, right, or forget someone. I forgot to mention Senator Philip Wheeler and the work he did over on the Senate side of carrying this to ensure that this funding got pushed through. And I apologize, Senator Wheeler, that I forgot to mention you. And Greg May, as it's been said, he's a tremendous friend. And he has pushed adamantly for this because he believes in it. But it's now my honor to introduce the next speaker, someone I never knew until he came into the legislature. And when he came in, we had friends in common, and Tom and I become very quickly very close friends. spending many hours together to the point where we figured we may as well sit together on the floor of the house so we can talk and get business accomplished. Tom will tell you I'm not a policy guy, I'm a project guy. And he pushed, and we've worked very hard in securing funding for these vocational schools, including this vocational school that the groundbreaking is taking place today. So it's my great honor to introduce my very good friend, Representative Tom Odell Smith.
Thank you, John. First of all, it was kind of interesting when I got the call to come and be on the platform for this, but I think my responsibility is to kind of give you an idea of how things are derived and visions become reality. And so I'm going to make a few remarks, and I try to make sense because I don't write speeches, so I just tell it from my heart and tell you how I see things take place in Frankfurt, which is a jungle in itself. But and it's very interesting, the inner workings. At a lot of the times. Greg May, and I know you've heard his name brought up a lot of times, but our friendship goes back 20 years. And he called me one day and he said, I want you to come to Pikeville. And I said, okay. He said, I want you to see something. So we were over at the recovery center here, and he walked me through it, and we walked outside, and I said, buddy, you've got it going on. You're doing a great deed. This is awesome. He said, well, you see that building next door? And I said, yeah. He said, we need a new one. He said, because we need to take them from right here, and we need to rehab them and get them back into the workforce. And I said, man, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. And not only did it sound like a great idea, it sounded like hope. I don't know anybody that's in front of me today that can't say they haven't made a mistake in life. Some more dramatic than others. Jails are not the place for recovery. Recovery centers is where we need to have our folks go to. They need a second chance. They need to have light at the end of the tunnel. They need to be given the opportunity to get back into society and show that they can prove themselves. And no better way to do it than to train them to go into a workforce. In this happening, and after I left Greg, one of my passions in running back for office was vocation. I've got 5 grandkids. Now, if you want anything that'll direct your life, have grandkids. And I started looking at how am I going to keep them in Knox County? Well, I started thinking, well, we've got to give them an opportunity to live in our county. We can't just expect them to stay there. When I was growing up, I was told either go to college or you won't make anything out of your life. Well, instead, I went into business, and I opened it when I was 19 and ran it for 25 years, and I've done fine. Because I took on the responsibility. And it's all in our vocational, and Governor, I'll say this, they can come out of here with an electrical degree and make more money than both of us. Yeah, combined. Combined, probably. But there's opportunity in vocation. And I started thinking about the college debt, trillions of dollars of debt sitting on our young people. And what is their option? I always like to have an option B if I get into anything. So I have a way out. But I started thinking, what is our option? And our option is vocational training in Eastern Kentucky. It is our livelihood. It's our future. And if we can encourage them, dual credit hours was one of the greatest things that come out of the legislature too. It is awesome to have dual credit hours, letting kids in high school start participating in an avenue in life. And we can do that through vocation. We can get them through these vocational schools with dual credit hours. We've done it in Knox County through our community college. We took an old nursing home and renovated it, and now it's open. Over 300 students this semester going there. We were fortunate to get some funding, as John pointed out, for Knox County, our vocational school, in which we're in the middle of getting the process going with it. How it all derived, though, is that, and I'll tell this, I think the statute of limitations is about run out, but Rocky Atkins has been a friend of mine for years. And one thing that we have in common is we love Eastern Kentucky. We have mutual friends that loved Eastern Kentucky. And we worked together for years on trying to figure out what can we do for Eastern Kentucky. And I went and called him one day and told him, asked him if he'd come outside. I needed to talk to him, and we met outside the Capitol. And I said, we need to put a pot of money together for vocational schools. And I thought the number was 100 million. They're saying 75 today, but we got our share, so I was happy with that. But 100 million was our 100 million was our discussion. And I said, we need to put this pot of money together for vocational schools. He said, that's a great idea. And at that point, we started working on how we're going to get this into our budget. That's the best government there is to put these pots together and allow people to compete and to figure out how they can put a good project together and make sure that there's accountability to it. The sad part is there's a lot of work to it. It is hard. But the challenge is there for us, and it was made there for us, and I will say this about the governor. I've been to see him 3 times, and all 3 times has been one of the greatest experiences I've had. His father was great to us in Knox County. There wasn't a time that we didn't ask his father for something in Knox County that he didn't give to us. And when his father ran, we gave back. I believe it was one of the counties in eastern Kentucky that he took claim for and carry in, and we done it because we appreciated for what he done for us. And Governor, we appreciate what you've done for us. One thing I love seeing is that black Suburban come in, and I like to see orange cones going up. That's my day. I don't care for traffic problems. If I see orange cones in my district, I'm tickled. And when I see the black Suburban coming, I know I'm going to be happy too. So it's a great day for us. But relationships are built on honesty, and it's built on laying things on the table and having the same visions. And John Blanton, Greg May called me one day and he said, I want to introduce you to somebody. I said, okay, his name's John Blanton. Never heard of John before in my life. I said, that'd be fine. He said, no, you're going to like him. He's honest, he's straightforward, and you can depend on him. I said, well, that sounds like my kind of guy. Well, I got to know John, and not only did I get to know him, we become best friends. We have each other's backs in Frankfort, and that's tough to find. But we watch after one another, and John and I went into leadership on these projects. And I will say this about our speaker. We've got one of the best speakers you can have in the state of Kentucky, too, in Osborne. Speaker Osborne is, I've seen him in action. I've seen him in the caucus meetings, and some of them I can't tell you about, but I will say he's a leader. And he does the right things. And when we went and seen him, John and I went to his office, told him what our needs were. He said, let's get it done. Well, after the first funding cycle it wasn't even the first funding cycle. I get a call from Greg, and he starts saying some words that I can't repeat. And I said, buddy, what is the problem? He said, they've done something to us and it ain't good. And I said, what is it? He said, they cut us out of the funding. I said, what do you mean they cut you out? He said, the verbiage, everything that's in there. And I said, buddy, listen, that fine print, I can't explain it. He said, it wasn't the fine print, it's the whole thing got us. So I said, well, just settle down. You don't need to have a heart attack over this. We'll figure it out. He said, well, you better figure it out. I said, I'm going to. We're going to figure this thing out. And dadgum, I wish I'd waited a year and got another $5 million, but it didn't turn out too bad for him because he said, I don't want $10 million, I want $15 million. And I said, well, but it's funny how things work out, but it actually goes from years of experience. I know he backs up what he says, so I wanted to make sure that we was all on the same page. And in saying that in jest, I will end with this, that Governor, thank you. Thank you for being there for us when we ask. I told him 3 things I went in there and talked to him about. 2 of them come through, and one of them's on the desk. So my challenge is, Governor, I hope we go 3 for 3. And but in saying that, I've drove this far out of respect for friends and respect for Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky is in my heart, and I'll fight for you. I love you. I love the hollers. I love soup beans, as you can tell. I love country. There's nothing that I don't like about Eastern Kentucky and that I don't love. I've got a grandson who's autistic. I didn't mean to go emotional, but I want to tell you that your leader at the Pikeville Hospital is a great man. And what he's done for autism, nobody can touch. I drove up here to spend the day with him. I toured the facility. because I wanted to see who was trying to fight this cause, and he's fighting it. And Governor, in the next 4 years, I want to put a challenge to us. We're smarter than to let this go by. I met with 5 superintendents, and all 5 of them told me that over 25% of their population in their school falls in the spectrum of mental health. Shame on us if we don't tackle it. Shame on us if we let these kids fall through the cracks. We can do better. And my challenge is, I want Pikeville Hospital to lead us in the schools and find a way for us to build schools that deals with this in our spectrum. And I want to challenge my areas, and I'd like to see a pilot program get started that we can see these kids brought into, you take the resources of a hospital and the resources of a school program, the SEEK money and the Medicaid, and you combine them, we've got enough funding to hire the best. And that's my challenge, and I want to be a part of that challenge. The same vision we have for vocational schools, I want to have for mental health schools in every district in the state of Kentucky, because I think our kids deserve it. And I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to say all that. But I want to introduce a senator that I've met in Frankfort. And I guess the best terminology for him is a bulldog. I've never seen him go after something that he didn't get finished up. I've seen him over in the House more than he's been in the Senate, on the floor, working legislation. And I look forward to the day that we have the same relationship that I have with John, because I believe he's a true believer and he's a true statesman. And I want to introduce Senator Wheeler to you and thank him for what he's done for us. Thank you.
It's a true privilege and honor to work with people like Tom and John in Frankfort. And I want to repeat some of what has been said. I mean, we do have a great community of leaders here in Eastern Kentucky, particularly with Donovan and Greg and Reed. I can remember when Greg called me about this project, about his vision. I immediately thought of our favorite Congressman, Hal Rogers. A vision without funding is a hallucination. Well, we were going to make sure, our people, our job here is to make sure that people quit having hallucinations, that we get them back to reality. And so we immediately went to work in Frankfort to make Greg's vision of a dual-purpose facility a reality. And and it really wasn't that hard of a sell. I mean, especially amongst Republicans in the General Assembly, we're always looking for ways to make money work more effectively, and how tax dollars in this day and time are a valuable thing. We're sitting on a huge pension debt. We're having to make substantial reforms to bring our house in order, and I believe we've done that. And a $3 billion surplus and a rainy day fund shows that we do that. But how do you do that? You do that by making smart decisions. And this is a smart decision because you're getting your best bang for your buck that you can get. Not only are we putting children out of this facility to start on their careers, we're giving people a second chance at a new career where they can support their families. And I think that the best thing that you can do for someone that's struggling with addiction to keep them from backsliding is to give them a job, give them meaning, give them a purpose so that they can get out there and support those that they love. I mean, I think that's really what everybody wants, is the American dream. A decent place to live, ability to support their family. And that's what this type of facility represents. I think one of the great fallacies that we embarked on in this country was that everybody had to have a college education to be successful. That's just simply not the case. And to some degree, we're experiencing the product of that now with the shortage of carpenters, electricians, plumbers, the people who build things. And the renewed focus on vocational education through facilities like the new Milliard Vocational School will enable us to get this country back on track, to get this region back on track. As Donovan stated, healthcare has become a major economic driver here in Eastern Kentucky, and Pikeville Medical Center is really at the forefront of this new economy in Eastern Kentucky. The fact that this facility will be training people to give them the workforce that they need is paramount. I grew up here in Eastern Kentucky, and it's a place that I know and love very well. You know, all too often we've seen a brain drain, people leaving Eastern Kentucky because there's no hope for employment or jobs. Facilities like this will give the hope for the next generation so that they can stay at home, so that grandparents can see their grandchildren, so that they can see their great-grandchildren, and that generations can learn to treasure this place just as we have. It's an honor to share the stage with my dear friend Tim Robinson, who's really been a leader in addiction care. He was a best man at my wedding, and you know, he was always even back when we were in college, he was always a visionary, always looking towards the next horizon. Somebody that you can trust, somebody that you know when he has a purpose and a plan that he's going to follow through. I trust him so much that my brother's currently at Addiction Recovery Care and has been sober for a year and really is making great strides towards a new life for himself. But I do want to thank the governor for coming here today to celebrate this great day with us, this new future for Pike County and students who want to attend a vocational school and use their hands and get to work. The next gentleman that I have the honor of representing is, I'm actually his senator, as he tells me so very often, and we've worked on many great projects during my time in the General Assembly of putting real bricks and mortar and investment in Eastern Kentucky, including an expansion of the Little Sandy Correctional Complex in Elliott County, this facility, the vocational schools in Lawrence and Johnson County. We've really worked together to make a mark in a region that sincerely needs investment. You all know him, and we've always supported him, and I've always had a man that'll answer the phone when we have a call, and we've worked great during my time in the General Assembly, the Special Assistant to the Governor, Rocky Atkins.
Well, the only thing that's standing between you and the governor speaking is me. So I'm going to be quick. I think if there was ever a perfect example that when people work together, great things happen, it is this project that we're celebrating here today. Many people have been mentioned, and I'll just quickly mention some folks that from my seat that I had, that this project would not have happened without their hard work, their intervention, just everyday tenacity they had to hang in there, to take no for an answer. I first of all want to thank Reed Adkins and Greg May, two bulldogs that wouldn't give, that had to go through 2 budget cycles to get this project funded because we thought we had it funded, Governor, in the first budget. You did. And I'll never forget the phone call I got from Reed Adkins that said, there's something happened in that budget that we don't qualify. And I said, there's no way, Reed. There's no way. I know for a fact that the language we put in and the budget that took place, and he said, no, something's happened. And I said, well, I assume that I get to look at you and Greg a little more then, and I get to learn a little bit more about this project. The next group I want to mention quickly have already been on stage, and they've already had a chance to speak to you today, but Tom Odell Smith, John Blanton, and Philip Wheeler. 3 guys that do have me on speed dial, and 3 guys who have worn a path into my office on this initiative especially, but others, but especially this initiative. And you know, Reed and Greg, it wasn't only about this project. It wasn't only about the Milliard Career Technical Education Center. It was about how we make these investments across Eastern Kentucky and all of Kentucky at our high schools. So these 3 legislators have absolutely said, and Tom Odell, you look me right in the eye and you said, let me tell you something. I'm mad, I'm disappointed. I'm not mad at you or the governor. I'm mad at some people that I happened to serve with that maybe didn't follow through with exactly what they said they were going to, but we're not going to give. And Tom Osdale said, get the governor to put in another pool of money for the area tech centers, and let's make it happen. And here we are today. And the last individual that I would like to mention is our governor. I'm here to tell you that in the last 2 budget cycles that he has recommended to the General Assembly, there has now been almost $250 million to build and renovate career technical centers all across Kentucky at our high schools for that skilled trade that is so badly needed in our society today. I am happy to say, right here in the mountains and hills and hollers of eastern Kentucky, that because of these folks that I've mentioned, a good part of that almost $250 million, a good part of it, guess what, has come back to our region of eastern Kentucky. And every speech that the governor gives, he talks about our investment at our high schools, at career and technical education. Every speech he gives, he talks about this booming economy of the greatest job creation, the greatest economic development announcements in the history of Kentucky. He talks about the energy that he sees in our communities across eastern Kentucky, and I'm happy to say this county may be the county that he has been to more than any other county across Kentucky. And folks, I'm proud of that as an eastern Kentuckian. To know that we have a governor, that has us on the front burner. That we have a governor that is willing to stand strong to help us diversify, rebuild our economy, and bring new hope and opportunity to our people. This project will be a model for the rest of Kentucky and maybe the rest of our nation on how we train and highly educate students, high school students, in school systems like Pike County, but also how we take a scourge upon our communities across Kentucky and across America that suffer from addiction. To understand those individuals deserve to have a second chance, and to know when they come out of this facility through that recovery period that they're going to have a skilled trade, Greg, to be able to get a good job in this economy that we have today. To be able to be a welder, an auto mechanic, who go to work at Pikeville Medical Center, and be able to have a good job and to stay in our region and to raise their family and put food on the table and a roof over their head. As far as I'm concerned, folks, the only time anybody should ever have to leave our region is because they want to leave, not because they have to leave. And that's exactly what this governor is fighting for every day. And when you clear back all the noise, I can tell you right now, this legislature and this governor is working very closely together on the things that matter. And right here's a prime example of it here today. This project, Reed, I predict, this project, Greg, I predict, will bring hope and opportunity to this community, to this county, and to our region of eastern Kentucky. And it will bring that hope and opportunity, in my opinion, that our people have earned and our people deserve. I'm honored to be here with you today. Congratulations, Pike County. Thank you all.
You've heard today from many speakers, if not all, how this has been a bipartisan effort working together for the betterment of Pike County and eastern Kentucky. So let me point out a few things as I introduce our next speaker. First of all, there's an old adage that a picture is worth 1,000 words. We've heard that, correct? Well, I say don't always believe what the picture says. Don't even believe what the video says, because there's a thing called sound bites, Governor. We are not as divided as people want to make you believe. Now, there are some that want to be divided, and they're going to be divided. But there's some of us that simply want to be effective and do things for the right reason. Anytime I have ever contacted Rocky or the governor's office asking to meet with the governor, he's met with me. Never one time has he said, no, we're not doing this. Now, there's times we can't simply get things to work, but it's not because there's not an effort made. Governor has never once said to me, John, you're the opposite party, I can't help you. No, if anything, the comments I get from is, how can I help you? What can I do for you? As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about maybe I ought to file some legislation in the upcoming session to move the governor's mansion to Pike County, because this current governor spends a lot of time in Pike County, and we're glad of that. I'm glad to see him in Eastern Kentucky. He's been here with us through the floods. He was with Western Kentucky during the tornado. Every evening you see him on the news giving us an update when we went through that, I'm not even going to mention name, time period. But he made sure people were provided information because he has a heart for the people. He has a heart of serving. Are we going to have our disagreements? I would imagine. My wife and I do. But you know what? Contrary to the old adage that can't believe nothing a politician says, never once has the governor ever told me something that I couldn't take to the bank. And I don't believe he'll tell you something that he don't believe wholeheartedly. And Governor, I thank you for your work and your effort in this endeavor to bring this project to fruition that we're about to break ground on here today. You've been not just a partner, but a leader in helping us get here today. I thank you for this project and everything you do for us here in Eastern Kentucky. So it is my great honor to introduce to you today our governor, the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Beshear. Please make him welcome. Governor, thank you.
Thank you all. It is great to be back in Pike County today, where we are celebrating a facility that is going to give the kids of this county the best chance and the adults of this region a second chance. It is true that we have come to Pike County about as much as any other county in Kentucky, though I worry if we move the governor's mansion here, if Paul doesn't run again. And none of us could hold a candle to you, Governor. This is actually my second visit to Pike County just this month. A few weeks ago, I was at Pikeville Medical Center to celebrate the expansion of the nursing facility and the Lawson Cancer Center. We awarded funds for Project Heart, which is helping to train more nurses. Project Heart, the Pikeville Medical Center, and Galen College are working hard to ensure that we address this healthcare crisis, but in every crisis, there's a flip side of it. You know, we talk every day about trying to bring good new jobs to the region, yet there are 400 good-paying jobs open right now in one facility alone. Think about it, that everyone we can get educated enough, trained enough, and healthy enough to fill those jobs, it changes their life, their kids' life, and their kids' lives. We have in front of us an opportunity that we are going to address here and in so many other ways, to give hundreds of Eastern Kentuckians the opportunity to live their dreams, to earn a great paycheck, and to live in the region that they love. That day, we also celebrated funds to protect law enforcement. Sheriff, thank you for what you do for us. We were able to provide funds to promote tourism, to build a new fire station, to resurface roads, and to bring high-speed internet to new parts of Pike County. And today, we get to break ground on the Milliard Vocational Center. Shortly, we're going to present a ceremonial check for nearly $15 million that we're able to make this happen. But I got to tell you, groundbreakings are great, but ribbon cuttings are special. The true amazing day is the day that these doors are going to open up. That during the day these students come in, learn skills that will put them in jobs right now. that will put them in jobs that will help us build this incredible economy that we're seeing. I mean, we're building a new steel facility in Bell County. We're building the 2 biggest battery factories on planet Earth in Hardin County. And it's these types of skills that are going to help Kentuckians build the future of Kentucky's economy. And then at night, folks that need a second chance or a third chance or a fourth chance or a fifth chance or a sixth chance, Tim, as long as they're trying, we are proud of them. And we're going to be here to support them. They are going to come in and learn the skills that are going to help them secure a good paying job for when they come out of treatment and are in recovery. What Tim was saying is entirely true. Whether it's our folks coming out of incarceration right now, getting more substance abuse treatment inside our jails and prisons than ever before, or the care that ARC and so many others give, folks, just since I've become governor. Through the work of Tim and so many others, we've increased our number of treatment beds by 50% in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And for the first time ever, anybody who is ready for treatment, anybody who wants to get better, we can put them in a bed regardless of their ability to pay. It's the first time, thanks to Greg and so many others, that we can be there for every single Kentuckian. But I think about what this can mean in terms of the local economy. First, it's going to be all the construction jobs that help put it up. Second, it's going to be all the jobs that it helps fill that are out there. But third, these are job magnets for the employers that are looking all over Kentucky. I got to be in Breckinridge County, where Atlas had just announced they're going to put a international headquarters there in Breckinridge County. 80-something jobs, biggest jobs announcement they'd ever had in that county. And when I told them what gave them the confidence that they'd have their workforce, they pointed to their ACT. They pointed there knowing that they had filled jobs in the past and would fill jobs in the future. And that is exactly, Reed, what you are going to be able to show every employer looking at this region. And folks, we've got some big ones coming in that are looking at Pike County and the surrounding counties. And this is the way we sell them on this region. As the governor of an Education First administration, but more importantly, as the dad of 2 teenagers, please pray for me. I know what these centers mean. And I don't think it's our job as adults to pick these kids' path. Yes, for those that want to go on and get a 2-year or a 4-year degree, we should help them. We should make sure the opportunity is there, the scholarship dollars are there, but for those that are ready to go right into the workforce, let's give them the best opportunity possible. This economy has created jobs where, for the first time in my lifetime, you can support not just yourself, but others if you have a skill leaving high school. Think about what that means that we can do for even one generation. Think about if we can place every graduating senior either in higher ed or in a good paying job before they graduate. Think about what that does for the region. Think about what that does to supercharge our economy by filling all of those openings for employers. But think about what it does to fight generational poverty, to restore hope where hope has been lost. Because between Donovan and so many others, we're creating a good job out there for everybody. We can get healthy enough, educated enough, and trained enough to fill. And when that's the case, we have a chance to do something special, not just for our economy, but for our society. When we think about second chance employment and what it's doing right now, not only have we seen us post the lowest recidivism rate in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, think about that. My faith tells me that second chances are our job. And right now, between the substance use disorder treatment that we're providing in jails and prisons, and the reentry services and the second chance employers, we're putting more families back together. We're providing stability, and yes, we're making communities safer because people don't reoffend. It is the same with those that seek treatment right next door. Folks, for the hardworking folks in law enforcement, in treatment, and in recovery, last year we did something that ought to give you hope and tell you how important this is. Last year we were one of only 8 states in the entire country that saw a significant decrease in overdose deaths. Let's give everybody who works in this area a big round of applause. And these facilities are so important for our future. I mean, when we are suddenly winning day in and day out with some of the biggest employers in this country, we're now the home to the biggest investment in the history of Ford and of Amazon. When we're doing things that have never been done before, this is the time for these renovations and expansions. Thanks to working with the General Assembly, and I am grateful for their work, we are investing $245 million into career and technical centers like this all over Kentucky. This is going to give us the advantage not just now, but moving forward. Combining this with the new Education First employer program that KCTC is embracing, opening their doors to make sure they are direct pipeline to employers and not simply graduating people with degrees, we are answering the workforce challenges that every other state is asking. It means that we can continue this red-hot economy. We can continue to suddenly be the state that all of our surrounding states are jealous of. I mean, for the first time I can remember, we're not saying, what about Tennessee? Tennessee's saying, what about Kentucky? I mean, they're looking at us and they're saying, Kentucky, how are you doing it? And I'm looking back saying, we're not telling you. But it is projects like this. It is the folks on this stage. It is our legislators that work to get this passed. It is Reed and everyone else up here that not only has this idea, but works to make it a reality. This is our chance to do so many special things. That best opportunity for our kids, that second chance for our adults. I mean, today we're truly living out our faith that we love our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan telling us that everyone is our neighbor. Now, this is a chance to do this right, to take a moment of potential prosperity and to make sure it reaches all parts of Kentucky, especially the parts that have been left out these last decades. I'll close by saying y'all deserve this. I mean, y'all mined the coal that built America. I mean, you built the strongest middle class we've ever seen. The Industrial Revolution, you powered us through 2 world wars. This country owes you a debt of gratitude, and they owe you a whole lot of investment. And that is why, certainly with Rocky and others' help, we have tried to invest over and over and over. I think about what we've invested just in infrastructure alone, over $5.5 million in water and sewer grants that we provided to Pike County, more than $1 million in discretionary road funds, $750,000 to build the new Kemper Volunteer Fire Station, $2.6 million to Intermountain Cable to bring internet to 263 homes and businesses that didn't previously have it. And let me tell you, with the dollars coming down from the federal government, while I'm governor with this General Assembly, we are going to bring high-speed internet access to every home in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I think about what we're doing through the Appalachian Regional Commission. You know, I say no to just about everything they ask me to do out of Washington. This is where I'm supposed to be. These are our people, and bettering our Commonwealth is our job. But when they asked me to be head of ARC, knowing what it does for this region and others, I had to say yes. We've got $765,000 coming to Pike County for the Hillbilly ATV trails to make sure we build on last year, the best year for tourism in the history of Kentucky. We have $358,000 going towards improvements at Breaks Interstate Park. And earlier this month, we announced $760,000 to bolster tourism here in Pike County. And I was proud that this year we were able to return more coal severance funds than Pike County has seen in a long time. This past fiscal year, Pike County received more than $7 million, an increase in $3.8 million since the year before. But we know that there is so much more to be done. We know that we've got to bring so many more jobs and opportunities right here. We all love that we're Kentuckians, but we also love the region that we're from. For the first time I can remember, jobs are coming to people instead of expecting people to come to jobs. Just think about the fact that right now, for the first time in history, every section of the 4-laning of the Mountain Parkway is either completed, under construction, or under contract, and what that's going to mean. So I look forward to more days like this, to more groundbreakings, but more importantly, to more ribbon cutting, to more health care, to more opportunities, to more jobs, to more funding for public education. They deserve more funding for what they do. So together, I know we're committed to building a better Commonwealth. Together, we're going to build a better Pike County, and together, we're going to bring hope and opportunity to Eastern Kentucky. Thank you all very much. All right. We went from sun tanning to sun burning out there. So.
Well, this is the moment you all been waiting for, and you know, when you go to church, they always encourage you to sit in the front. I think you can see why today that would be important. If you were in the front, you'd be in the shade right now. So at this time, we'll ask everyone to please move down for the groundbreaking ceremony. Greg May would ask you to please come up with us.